Every September, independent cinema, music, and community take center stage as part of the Albuquerque Film and Music Experience, or AFMX to those in the know. Since its first year back in 2013, the festival has welcomed the likes of Jeff Bridges, Marissa Tomei, T-Bone Burnett, Bryan Cranston, Giancarlo Esposito, and a man who knew a thing or two about film festivals himself, Hollywood icon and activist Robert Redford.
I think one of the things Bob and I connected on immediately were relationships that were genuine and true relationships where you wanted to do for other people where you could.
AFMX founder Ivan Wiener has a long history of connecting people.
I think it's safe to say you are the only person I know that can say they were good, that first of all calls him Bob.
Yeah.
But that knew Robert Redford the way you did.
In the early 2000s, he was working as a concierge in D.C. at the infamous Watergate Hotel.
You know, when we first really sat down to talk, and he asked me, about my background, and when I told him I was the head concierge of the Watergate Hotel, that turned into like a 2-hour conversation just about All the President's Men.
I was going to say
there.
that's
and just,
that had to be that film was such a defining part of his career was his performance in that film.
There's no way the White House can control the investigation.
The two men originally met at, where else, the Sundance Film Festival in 2008. Ivan was working as a personal assistant for the late actor Dennis Hopper at the time and accompanied the Easy Rider star to a film premiere in Utah.
So we arrived at Salt Lake City, take a limo from the airport up to the hotel in Park City. And that evening, he said, hey, we're going to a party, it's just invite only, make sure you dress nice. And so Dennis was always dressed really impeccably well whenever he went to events. And we get to this event, and Robert Redford's there. I'm like, oh, wow, the founder of Sundance and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Is that what you call giving cover? Is that what you call running?
What was that experience like, walking in and saying? Because, first, maybe you kind of had a buffer because Dennis Hopper is also a legend. But I don't know, I would be speechless in presence of these legends.
So I met him very briefly. The room was abuzz, and of course, he founded Sundance. So I was just like, wow, Robert Redford. Yeah. I don't get starstruck because of the industry that I was in as a concierge and took care of so many people over the years. And but when Bob walked up to say hi to Dennis and I shook his hand, it was just like, when he said, hey, very nice to meet you, it was this sincere look in his eye of him not being a movie star, him being this incredible human being that's bringing people together and connecting people.
It's a similar role that Ivan has played throughout his professional life as well, and a guiding principle of AFMX. In 2012, Ivan was contacted by staff of former Mayor Richard Barry's office, pressing him to curate a film festival in the Duke City in the wake of the now-defunct Albuquerque Film Festival.
And then I got a call from Bob himself directly. He was like, what do we need to do to create an event here in New Mexico that does have the betterment of the community in mind? And that's where I came up with the 10-page business plan for AFMX.
No kidding.
I called Bob's assistant, scheduled a time to go to the house, took the business plan with me, walked in, sat down with Billy and Bob. They read through it, and Bob just clapped his hands with that Redford smile and said, fantastic.
Yeah.
Let's move forward in getting this done. I'm going to be your first guest.
Redford was no stranger to New Mexico's long legacy of filmmaking. He himself directed the Academy Award-winning picture The Milagro Beanfield War in 1987. The movie shot throughout northern New Mexico, and it was his second gig in the director's chair after winning the Oscar for Ordinary People on his first outing in 1981. Redford later served as executive producer on Drunktown's Finest, as well as the AMC series Dark Winds. And while Redford is considered Hollywood royalty, as Ivan says, he always kept his feet on the ground, focused on the work.
You said something before we started recording that I thought was really interesting, and I think it's kind of a testament to your work as a film festival curator and producer, that when Redford started Sundance, you said something that he was like, this thing is already 10 years ahead of where I was when I started Sundance. You're along those lines, is that right?
Yeah, so at the festival, after his experience at AFMX, He came to me and he was just like, "You're 10 years ahead of where we were in our first year of Sundance." And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't let that sink in.
Yeah.
Because, I'm thinking, this is Robert Redford, one of the biggest movie stars in the world who started Sundance and, invited his independent film friends there. But he was out front of the Egyptian Theater in year one of Sundance, handing out tickets for free, trying to get people to come in. And the town of Park City did not want that attention on their little sleepy ski town.
Wow.
What it's turned into now is $500 million a year in economic impact.
Throughout the years, Ivan says the Redford family continued their support and guidance for AFMX, as well as developing a close friendship with its founder. As the world mourned the passing of Robert Redford in September of 2025, the festival staff and army of volunteers continued their mission of collaboration and creative networking in the spirit of the Sundance founder. And as Ivan says, one thing's for sure, Redford's impact on New Mexico's film community will live on for generations to come.
I always go back to, if it wasn't for the Redfords being involved with the festival, it would not be what it is today.